If you want to have a better self-image or better opinion of yourself, you want to achieve some of the goals you've been putting off, or if you don't see how you could go about achieving your goals, well, this video is for you. Because in it, I'll show you what I found from my experience as an observer of other people's behavior and, most importantly, my own behavior. Looking at things from a different perspective, I think comparison is what stops you from achieving your full potential. The degree to which we compare to other people and what they did or what they achieved, we come to form a certain opinion or belief about ourselves. And this is being reinforced because the brain doesn't want to alter the self-image. It wants to alter the behavior to match that self-image. And this is the problem. It's a big problem, quite. Alright, so we have the question, how can someone be enough? But this is a wrong question, and I wrote it on purpose. How can you not be enough? Let's answer that question. How can you not be enough? If can someone be enough, then somebody must be not enough. So what enough means if someone can be? Well, the problem stems, as I said, from comparison. You already are, right? That is be. Enough or not enough doesn't matter. Enough is actually the comparison between who you are and what you do. And this is the danger. You consider yourself to be someone based on what you do, when in fact, you should consider yourself someone based on what you are. And what are you? Are you a dog, a pigeon, a tree? No, you're a man, a human. So the mix here has to be very clear. You don't mix performance with worth, right? Because you will always feel behind if you mix what you do with who you are. Because there is always somebody who's ahead of you. Always. And looking at the things through the lens of Ralph Waldo Emerson's essay, that is the compensation, you have something that someone you're comparing yourself against don't have. So the answer to this question is you're already enough. The better question would be, how can you improve? Okay, so how can you improve? Basically, you improve on multiple planes, on multiple aspects of yourself as a persona. So basically, improvement is development, and it deals on multiple areas of your life. It stems from self-knowing. It stems from courage. Okay, let's write this down. Okay, and here also curiosity, the biggest factor, right? This is how you improve. You become curious about life. You become curious about goals. Okay, you become curious about your goals, about what you want to achieve. You are being pulled by the thing you like. And this is how you improve. Right, so you improve yourself by questioning stuff. I think this is one of the biggest keys in everything, in self-knowing. Questioning, because once you have your goal, questioning is the first thing you do. How do I achieve it? How do I go about this? How do I go over this obstacle? And then learning is the second phase, okay? So you have questioning, alright? So you first ask the question, and this becomes your first phase, and then learning, second phase, right? And improvement comes straight from learning, because curiosity makes you learn. And the way you become curious is by having an interest. And this interest is satisfied only when you take the differences between what you know and what you don't know. And this becomes understanding. It becomes applied knowledge, right? And curiosity is satisfied when you take the delta, that is the difference between what you know and what you've experienced, and you transform that into experience. So learning has a direct result, of how you improve. Let me add here a video, right? And improvement takes you to self-knowing. And this is how you improve as a person. Basically, this is the map. Of course, it's not the whole map. For now, it's better to understand things superficially, right? You need to become curious already, and you will just need to know that you're already enough. But this improvement, that is the self-help and the way you know yourself, and also the degree to which your awareness is at a level where you can question things, right? And there is also a cycle here I want you to understand, where you begin to question and then you begin to learn. Sometimes you will keep questioning and you will not be able to learn until you ask the right question, right? So this becomes a wrong question. Okay, so you understand what I did, yes? I turned this into a wrong question so we can have a great question, I would say. Because improvement takes forever. Just like questioning never dies. There will always be questions about life, about the existence of God, our existence here, what's meaning, what's truth, what's the illusion of self, what's the biggest trap for mankind, and so on. Like, there are huge questions we don't even have the answer until we find the right knowledge to satisfy their curiosity, the innate curiosity. Curiosity killed the cat. Yeah, it can kill us, but before then, at least we have the right knowledge, not necessarily reflecting any ignorance on the case or on the fact that we're still questioning, but rather it's just a reflection of the self-knowing we have inside ourselves and the constant expression of the truth we are. Right? Because we are. You can't deny the fact that we are, and life just is, right? You cannot deny it. So you start from there. You start questioning from there, from your existence, so all the way to how you can improve. About the courage, you will need to have the courage to ask, first of all, and the courage to be open-minded, that is, to remove all the past objections and all the past paradigms you've been accustomed to that have been running your life for all the larger part so far, and be able to accept the new knowledge that's gonna come, either intrinsically or from outside. The intrinsic knowledge is the one you want to rely on, because everything you want is inside of you, okay? Everything, all the states, the psychoneurological states. So your third phase is the courage to accept change. Let me fix this wood. I like to eat letters. But here we have awareness. Right, how do you get the courage to accept change? You become open-minded. Open-mindedness is achieved by becoming an observer. Another thing you need to understand here is that learning already implies open-mindedness. Change is part of learning, so you only need the courage to accept the change. This is very crucial to understand this distinction, right? Because learning implies being open-minded. Otherwise, you would not be able to learn if you can't see things in a new way, if you don't prepare yourself to see things in a new way. So you only need courage for the bigger things. What the bigger things are is the concept of self, your self-image, and the way you see the world. This is what you need the courage for, to alter what you knew. Just like Einstein had problems with accepting various theories about the quantum mechanics. They could not agree on one theory, right? So Albert Einstein had a famous argument with Niels Bohr. So they both had a long-running disagreement about how to interpret quantum mechanics. Bohr fundamentally believed that the quantum events are fundamentally probabilistic, while Einstein believed that there is a deeper hidden variable behind the randomness, and so they could not agree. So this is the courage I'm talking about. Be mindful about this, right? Courage to say you don't know and accept it unless it's proven wrong. This is the key. Being truly open-minded is to have the courage to accept what's proven wrong. What you now know can be suddenly changed by some other things you don't know, because you don't know what you don't know. So you fundamentally improve when you have the courage to accept the change and also considering yourself a not knower. You don't know anything, bro. You know nothing. You need to learn and question all the time. You will have to do this, because nothing is known. What is known will soon be proven wrong by the future generations. It's always been like that. What's the Earth? Is it flat or a globe? I'll let you think about that. Learning is basically deductive reasoning or inductive reasoning. So learning inductively means learning from specific to a general rule, while deductively from a general rule to a specific conclusion. To improve yourself, you need to start questioning and have the courage to accept the change, to accept what you don't know, or to alter your mistaken certainties, okay? You will have to do this. Mistaken certainties is what keeps most people stuck for ages. But until you start questioning and you start your learning phase, and you can't accept the change, because nothing has been questioned. No goal has been mapped. And you'll also need to make the difference between a great question and a wrong question, 100%. For that, you will only need to start asking questions. This is the only way forward. You can't know what you don't know. So the discovery process is here. But first, the improvement starts here at the first phase. Depending when you are, you will need to repeat this cycle. Got it? And all the time, be open-minded, be an observer. And from observation, you start questioning. From questioning, you start the learning phase, and this is what improves you as a person. But it's very crucial to become an observer. Actually, everything is crucial. This is a whole loop. It's like an engine. It's built specifically and designed for maximum efficiency. Of course, there is variables to this, like questioning. If you ask the wrong questions, you can only learn the wrong stuff or restricted paradigms. Got it? So you will need to ask the right question. Very, very cool. How do you know the difference between the right question? I don't know the answer today, but that's called wisdom, to know which is which. I don't have it with me. I'm sorry. I would rather say as an answer for you to have something to think about, I'll give you a question. What feels right to you? That's the question. That's the question I have for you today. And start from there. Start questioning what I just questioned. And start questioning me. Start questioning yourself. If you start questioning everything begin the first phase, you will begin to open so many more branches into the unknown. And this will offer you improvement, because unless you start questioning, you'll only act on the same old ways. But that's not going to happen when you are an observer, because you'll be able to catch yourself in time and pull yourself back by asking new questions, setting new goals, developing the courage and becoming a learner, right, to accept the change. Very cool stuff if you begin to apply it. This is how and with other words, you will be enough because your technical ability will improve and your self-image will change. By asking the right questions, you will be enough in the end. By asking the right questions, 100%. It has always been like that. Be a questioner, just like the old Stoics, alright? So you begin to question. Questioning has at the base survival. A wrong question or a wrong answer could end in starvation or even death for our ancestors. So learn to ask the right questions and get the right answers therefore. Now, a right question might not necessarily imply a right answer. You gotta be very careful here, very observant of what's the right answer. And this is where we start arguing about the nature of who's right. The right is in the eyes of the beholder or something. And from a cognitive angle, questioning is a constant tension between your maps of reality and what the outside world is. So, in your brain versus how the world is out there. It's very crucial to think and to look at it this way. So questioning is a built-in function of conscious adaptation from being an observer. It also stems from self-adaptation, from seeking control, meaning, and also detecting uncertainty. So how can someone be enough? It depends. It depends. If that someone resides in a paradigm where they have to believe they can be enough or not enough or incomplete, then they already live in that paradigm. Therefore, they have the lens on, right? They can't take away themselves from the box to think outside the box and ask, how can I improve because I'm already complete and I'm already enough, right? So it's all a matter of questioning, of framing the things. Remember, framing. I'll write this here, framing things. Right? Framing things. Very crucial. Framing things. This is the best I can put it. Framing things. The questioning is framing. Is framing of the event, of what happens, of how you see the world, to the extent you know yourself. So start from there. Let that be your first phase, and become a learner and have the courage to accept the change, regardless of how painful it is, if it proves otherwise. If the deduction, what you've just learned, proves you otherwise. And this is how you become a new person, by accepting the change, right? By first starting to question. Until next time, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next videos.